Ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Welcome back to another episode's Couple of Nobodies. My name is Ryan Mayo.
I'm Josh Sampson.
And today we are here with the creator of Carbon Stories. But first we want to talk about the giveaway.
Well, we're going to be giving two $50 Nike gift cards away again. But, so there's going to be you're going to have to watch to the end of the video to kind of get more information on that.
Yeah, so don't skip ahead either. This is good content. Alright, so we are here with Erik, the founder of Carbon Stories.
Yes, sir.
And just a brief little discussion about how you started.
I started the company 2.5 years ago, just based on me having personal projects, photo, video, graphic design work. People were coming out to me, asking me to work on some different projects that they have or things that they needed, and I was just doing it by myself. But I was like, I need to be doing this with my friends, and I need to be doing this more higher quality production and be getting paid for it. And so I made a business plan, got together with a couple of people and said, hey, here's the idea. Let's see what we can do. And so from there we begin to market, reach out to people, get new projects, and now we're here today.
Alright, so let's start from the beginning. Like when you're really young, how did you get into the creative sense?
I think I got into creative things and creative sense just, I don't know, I was always interested in it. When I was younger, I was in second grade, I started a group called, it was Spy something, I don't remember, but we would just be spies, and it didn't even mean anything, but we run around the neighborhood in the woods and things, and then by the time I got 10 and 11, I wrote a small book that I sold at my church, and I had my cousins do the illustrations for it, and I had just written a story, and then when I was 12, I started a company called Young Entrepreneurs, and I did a newsletter around the neighborhood, and then also did yard cleaning. But within the newsletter, I had to do graphic design. I had to make everything fit within the page. I had to take some pictures for the cover of it. The first picture I did was just of my house, and then I did one of the pond that was in our neighborhood. That sort of stuff is what really got me interested in creative things. And then from there, I just started to use my cell phones to take pictures when I was 13 to 15, and then I finally got a hold of a real camera from my school I was able to use, so I was able to just get better at photography then, and on the weekends taking pictures and doing some small videos for my families would go on vacation, that sort of thing. But I think it really started out all the way back to the group when I was guys, we're gonna be spies and we're gonna go on missions. I think that's really where I just started the whole creativity aspect and really wanted to bring a group together, I feel like.
See, I remember when I was little, there's this show called Kids Next Door.
Yes.
And it was just a whole bunch of kids being spies. And I remember getting on their website and printing out one of the ID cards and putting my name and everything in photo.
But trying to be a spy.
So you wanted to get into the creative sense all the way from when you were younger, that was your dream?
Yeah, I feel it's always been creativity, without even knowing it. I wouldn't even consider myself a photographer back then or consider myself a videographer or a creative, but I think that just was the path that I was interested in and where I got the most fulfillment. If I had free time and had nothing to do, I'd want to go out and shoot. Or when I was on vacation with my family, instead of just enjoying everything and just soaking it in, I always was okay, I want to capture this, I want to document it. I got some really cool pictures I took on my, it was just on a cell phone. It was a MyTouch 4G back when T-Mobile used to make those. The photos were cool to me at the time, and I enjoyed being able to get better stuff. I used to just sneak out the house and go take pictures on foggy days and just test out different things. So just always wanted to get better, and in doing it, I think is what continued to push me to do it.
And then when you were making your newsletters, did you just how'd you start to make the newsletters?
I remember there was this old black laptop that my parents didn't use anymore, and so I was just messing around on the laptop in Publisher. I don't even think Microsoft makes Publisher anymore, but I remember just thinking I could put this together and give it out in the neighborhood. I don't remember what the origin of the thought was though, but I just know I was messing around in the templates, and then as it went along, each issue I changed the template even more from it being what they had, for you to just mess around with. But the first one, it was all just stuff I had written and got together, and then the second the second issue, I had friends that were down the street write this article called Toby's Corner where they'd highlight different animal things. And then I had my little brother help me out with some of the games, like so in the crossword puzzle section, he'd help with that. And then local people that were in our neighborhood that had businesses would pay $50 to put their business card in the actual issue. I think we only sold like 2 or 3, but either way, like it just kind of grew that way. I only did 4 issues though total. I think the 5th one I just stopped and didn't end up finishing it. But I don't know what it was that initially made me go do it. I just remember being interested in it and like starting. And yeah, the first one wasn't as good as like the 4th one was, but each of them I got better every time.
That's very true. I feel like that's like a big thing. Like just start something, and the more that you do it, the better you'll get at it.
Yes.
And everything like that.
I agree.
So, you start off with photography, and then you went to video. Why did you start getting into video?
Video, I do not even remember. I feel like, I don't know. I know for a fact it was my family vacation videos that I would make, but I don't know. I remember doing slideshows before, but then I like from slideshow just started to record video as well. And then in high school, there was a TV broadcast class that we do like different short videos for the school news. And so then, that was specifically video, so I'd be taking video all the time for that. And I didn't have to do pictures as much then, so I was doing a lot of different video then. And then also at my church, like photo video stuff was needed. We used to do announcements, these video announcements every Sunday. And so it was very repetitious, like it was the same thing really. I'd have to like record one of my siblings saying the announcements and then I'd make a video from it, but I got better every time I made it because I knew exactly what to do. But yeah, it wasn't even, I think it was like a gradual thing. It definitely wasn't I just woke up overnight, now I'm going to do video. And it wasn't like, I'm going to get good at video. It wasn't even intentional. I think it was just like, I'm just going to make some videos. You know?
And then you also do graphic design, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
How'd you get into that?
Graphic design, I know, was because of like flyers that I have to make, logos that people would ask for. And again, a lot of it was like, and we do this now as a company where when people are reaching out to us asking for stuff, that's kind of how we'll begin to do some of that. And I think when I first started out just in all of it, that's how it was. So if somebody came and asked, can you do a website? I used to say, no, I can't do websites. But then I was like, okay, I got to figure out how to do websites because people keep asking me how to do websites. So I figured that out. I think that's how it really was with graphic design as well. People were asking for logos, or people would ask for a flyer, or I'd have a picture that I'd wanted to change or do something different with. So the only way to do that was in learning graphic design.
So, throughout high school, were you big into like any sports or such, or did you just kind of keep towards the creative side?
I did track. That was the only sport I did. I tried basketball. I tried out for basketball my freshman year. It was so funny. I had like Gatorade every time I went. Everybody else, like they actually play basketball. Me, I was just messing around. It was really fun. I think I made it past there were like 3 days of cuts, and so I made it past the first day, which is really funny. No, just track was the only sport that I did. I hung out with friends and for fun, like we'd take pictures. Kendall Datamo was one of my friends that we like go shoot all the time, and even still now, like this summer, we met up and just shot for fun. So like, what is that, 4 years later? I think she was in like the first photo shoot I ever did that was just for fun. But yeah, I was always just interested in like media. I felt though in high school, I did a lot more research. Like I was watching a lot more YouTube videos. I didn't call it research then, but when I look back at it, I'm like, I was just learning things versus now actually doing a lot of it.
So, when you started looking for colleges, like, did you ever think of a time where, like, should I just start going into like doing this as a business, or really just like strict college?
I didn't. I was like strict college. If you ask me my senior year of high school, I was like, I'm going to go to Michigan State and I'm going to graduate and then I'm going to go work for Google or Apple and I'm going to do some creative stuff with them and their product development team. But then when I didn't get into Michigan State, I was like, okay, I'll just go to GRCC and then I'll go to Michigan State and then I'll go work for Google or Apple. But as along that process like began to happen, I got into state, but by the time I got into state, it was when my personal projects were really picking up, and I'm like, okay, let me do a business as this. I know that if I would have thought of it as a business, I could have at least even built some structures and then went to Grand Valley versus going to Michigan State, or did something that just would have been easier. But now, like, I'm taking a semester off because I'm trying to like get more structure and things going in Carbon so that I don't have to be here so much day to day, and then I can, go part-time and finish my degree there. But I think if I would have known what Carbon was going to be, I would have maybe even just only went to school part-time and then just finished it longer, because I want to get the degree so I can give it to my parents. But aside from that, I had no clue at all whatsoever. I really thought that I had to go this like structured way of, I need a degree so then I can go apply for this job, and then my resume's got to look good, and then I knew I needed to have projects and stuff, so I'd do 4 fun things that I could put on my website and say like, oh yeah, look at this video I made. But I wasn't thinking at all, I can accomplish my goals through a company that I built. I really thought that it'd have to be like Google or Apple or some cool company that already existed.
Mm-hmm. So what are your degrees that you are going for over at Michigan State?
Advertising is what my major is, but yeah, like I said, this semester I'm taking off. First semester off since I started. Really, I've always been at least going part-time, but it's hard though, because in the classes they'll say one day you work for a larger advertising agency and you'll do this for a client, and I'm like, I'm running a smaller one right now, and one day we're going to be large, and a lot of the stuff that they say to do, I'm already learning practically because I'm doing the work versus just talking about it. And sometimes in class, kids are like, one day I want to make a video and I want to da-da-da-da, and I'm like, why don't you go do it right now? Like, instead of partying on the weekend or whatever, on your Sunday night, like, you could be doing something that is in the field or area that you want to pursue. So that gets, like, frustrating for me. But yeah, major advertising, and I changed it though from media information, because there I really wasn't learning things. The cameras were older that they were trying to have people learn stuff from, and I'm like, this would just be, even the types of pans and the types of videos they want made, I'm like, if I used my camera, it'd look way better than if I was using that camera. So my goal is to try to at least learn a little more on the structure side using advertising as a major, because I do know I don't know everything, but I also know that in this field, experience is what really gets you going, and then connections, not as much what that paper says you can do.
I'm reading this one book right now. It's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, and it's by Mark Manson. And one thing that he said was, the people that act like they know everything will know nothing, and the people that know they don't know everything will know everything.
I believe
and
it.
everything like that. So that stuck out right when you said that.
Yeah, that's always been a motto. Like, I'm not where I was yesterday, but I'm not where I will be tomorrow. And that's based on continual growth and needing to learn things. Like, Friday, I did a family photo shoot, and it was Adam Kyle and Beth Kyle, and they're entrepreneurs here in the city. And after the photo shoot, we talked for another hour and a half just about business, and me asking them stuff, because they run businesses and they employ people, and so they're able to just pour in some like values and some ideas to me, and I'm like, I felt like I was learning so much more than I even would in a class. But I'm like, I don't know the answers. What do you guys think it may be? That sort of thing.
So who are some of the people that you look up to?
I would say I look up to Casey Neistat, Gary Vee, also Philip. I can't remember his last name. I still don't know his last name. But they're just creatives who are out doing things in this field, just knocking it out. You always see consistent things coming out from him. Casey, I think the most. Like, he's always making like crazy off the wall videos. Like, did you see his shark video he just made?
I
saw some on Adam 22's Twitter page. Like, it was like how much he made off the video, and it was only like a penny.
Yeah, I saw that.
And then Adam, he was like saying something like, this is why you need to support people's like buying their product, and just like supporting them through other than YouTube, because YouTube isn't like paying them as much, and like he's like a child friendly like producer and stuff like that. So I just thought it was kind of weird, like, that he wasn't getting paid that much, and he's like more of like family friendly type of producer.
I'm wondering if it's because of how much he does already make on the other videos, but I saw that too on Twitter. I haven't even watched the video. I just saw the tagline for it, because it says sharks and scorpions, and I'm like, I know for a fact he's gonna get a lot of, like, I know it's a cool video because it's Casey. But But yeah, then I like how Gary is just very adamant about goal setting, very adamant about reaching the goals, very practical. I don't watch him as much anymore because in one of his videos he was like, if I was 21, I wouldn't be watching my videos. I'd be out working, and I was like, facts. I should be out working.
Yeah.
So I think like last April I stopped like checking it day to day, but it was really good stuff to learn. Because I think there was one time when I was like, I've watched just about every video on your channel right now, but this was again like last year springtime. Now I mean he doubled up the content. He's producing so much. So yeah, those are 3 people who I just appreciate their work ethic, their drive, and they're in the same field. So that's also something that I kind of look at. But at the same time, completely different still, because none of them. I mean, I'm sure Casey knows graphic design as well, but he's just well known for video.
Yeah.
You know, and Gary's a business guy, and Phil, the guy I'm talking to, the other guy, he runs Madberry Club, but he. I don't really know what he can produce himself. I know what the team does, but I don't know if he's a photo or video guy. So it's all different lanes and stuff, but definitely learned some things from them.
So when you started Carbon, like what was your intention to do with it?
My thought was just to bring some structure to the projects that I was already doing, because I knew that we were gonna get projects because they were coming in without me even marketing to myself. So I'm like, if we start marketing and we're intentional about it, like we can just run these well and make good media. I think the goal always was to branch out into New York, get a studio here, get a studio in New York, do more projects in New York. But it was just more of a timeline. I didn't know when necessarily. So our first project was with Spectrum Health because of our marketing director just being bold, walking across the hall, handing out a business card. His name is Vincent, and the dude's just like fearless when it comes to this stuff. I wasn't even prepared for him to do that. I was like, Vincent, what are you doing? Like, we didn't even have everything together. But we did. Like, he had the business card, and we had our website up and everything. It was our first meeting at Blue 35. But it was, I don't know, I think the goal was more of just to bring structure to what was already being done and then possibly go do more, but never knowing how much it was going to end up being. And so when it took off, then it was like, okay, these are what exactly we want to get done. I feel like the business plan was only 70% done, even though I thought at the time it was 100% done. But it was like, this is the basics, foundation of what we're working with. And then so it started it in April 2015. By January of 2016, I was able to say, okay, this is exactly what I want us to do. This is exactly where we want it to be. And then even still, it continues to grow. But I think as we make more and as we do more, we learn what it is that we kind of want to do and want to get done. But now I have like the bigger goals and know exactly where I want to see it in 10 years, that sort of stuff.
Starting off, like, what were your main like problems you ran into, like, with it?
I think the main problem that I ran into was not knowing what to do when I thought I did everything. Because again, like, projects were coming in. I think it was a steady flow. I think if it was even busier, it would have been harder to keep up with it. We had a decent equipment, and so since we didn't have any costs, we were just pump the money back into the company to buy Carbon some equipment. But I think some struggles would have been, like, I remember summertime of 2015, I was at Lion Street Cafe every day, and once I finished a video for a client, or I didn't have anything that was due that day, I kind of be like, okay, what should I be working on right now? And this was before I even knew how to anticipate issues that could occur later down the road and then try to grab them and like fix them. So sometimes I wasn't wasting time, but I think I was just in my head a lot, just kind of thinking through things. But I'm like, now I'm at a place where I can do this process stuff. We just did a really good team meeting yesterday where behind those curtains, there's some sticky notes up, and like there's some great like notes and thoughts that we've talked about. They're gonna get written down on paper, and then we'll be able to see what we're gonna do. But at the end of the day, if things aren't produced, if like those issues or those changes that we need to make don't become like, bam, this is where that solution is, then all of that is pointless. Even on the video photo side. And that's why I also enjoy the field we're in, because it's like, at the end of the day, as much structure as I want to put around it, if I'm not uploading photos to send to a client, or if I'm not exporting a video, I'm not getting things done. So that was something that I've learned to combat that issue, but it was really just being in my head thinking about stuff versus actually going to go do it. And I mean, yeah, my mind can wander, and start thinking about other places, and you're like, oh, what does it look like to be in New York? And I'll go Google search all that stuff. And while it helps, it's more practical especially in the beginning, to be consistently building things, even if it's just writing out process stuff. But I think that was the hardest thing.
So, why do you want to move to New York?
I want us to be able to be in New York. Well, it'll always be both. So like, I'm seeing all of our main projects still be here in Grand Rapids, but 4 or 5 larger projects in New York because the opportunity out there to be able to do some cool stuff. So right now we do work with Brooklyn Cloth. They're just a very cool brand. They flew us down to Las Vegas last year. One of our photographers were able to go down there. He was able to take pictures, and they were able to get paid for it. Like, it was awesome. That type of opportunity doesn't really exist as much here in Grand Rapids. Don't get me wrong, there's some really cool stuff here. Like, we're going to South by Southwest with Michigan House this year. We'll be documenting it all, and like, we have 5 people that we know from our team going already. Hopefully more. We're looking to make some more connections down there to see what we can do when we're down there. But like, that's set in stone for something in March. Like, that's awesome coming from here in Grand Rapids. But I know that in New York, there's just bigger opportunities when you look at like working with a Nike, or look at even working with cooler brands that not everybody knows about. Like, Extra Butter is a store that has some really cool street clothes there. And I knew nothing about them 2 months ago, but once I found out about them when I went to New York in December, I stopped in the store, made a short video. They tweeted at me and were like, "This video is sweet." And I'm like, I would love to do more with them. But it's kind of hard when you're just here in Grand Rapids, being able to do stuff for companies like that. But I know that Grand Rapids is a great place to test out a lot of things and get good at stuff. But yeah, I think the main thing would be the opportunity for cool projects, opportunity for working with larger brands, that sort of thing.
So how did the Brooklyn company contact you guys, since you guys are so far away?
So I reached out to them. I literally Google searched cool clothing brands in Brooklyn. And they were the first ones to come up, Brooklyn Cloth. And this was like summer of 2016. I emailed the guy who is their advertising manager. I was like, "Hey, if you guys ever need photos or video, let us know. Here's our link." And then he emailed like a day later and was like, "I'm actually looking to build this campaign together. Can you build us a quote for da 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 da?" And we didn't end up getting that first project, but it ended up developing into projects that we were able to do. And then now, whenever we go to New York, even if it's just for a couple of days or we're there for something else, we'll touch base with them, do some content for them, just to continue to build that relationship. And it helps grow our process to where we know what it's like to make a video for a client in New York now. And then there's a real estate company that we do videos for that was connected from somebody I used to go to high school with, who reached out to one of our creators because he interned at that place. And so it was a crazy weird connection. And their real estate that we get the shots for in like Ohio, there was one in Florida, there's one in California. So a lot of different places that we have to capture stuff for them at. But it's a relationship that's continuing to grow. I didn't even meet them in person until I went this last December. And so when I was able to meet them, I'm like, love doing work with you. Hope to continue to do more. Talking about just some higher level stuff we'll be able to do with them. But yeah, it's just really reaching out, and we still haven't even done as much as we could. Like, I probably only sat down and cold emailed like 3 times where I'm like, okay, I want to try to reach out to people in New York. Aside from that, like, it's still been trying to make sure our foundation is great here, and we'll never be perfect, and we'll never arrive, but I definitely know when we're getting better, and then when it's like, okay, now we can look to expand. So you know how like everybody's trying to get to Mars right now? That's kind of how New York is for us. It's like, we know we're going to get there. Like, the human race is going to get on Mars one day. It might be in 100 years, but like, it's going to happen. But it's like, bottom line, we got to be making steps towards it. And there's going to come a time when it's like, okay, things are very sustainable here. Let's, need to be in New York once a month, making sure we're getting stuff knocked out there. But as of right now, it's like we go 4 times a year. And then, again, who knows, stuff can continue to grow. But as of right now, like, just hoping to make more contacts out there. I've got some goals set for some like X number of clients in New York by January of next year. So
See, like, what I feel is wherever you go, try to make like the most of it. Like, go out to companies and everything like that, and just really experience where you go, and like try to use all the resources there as possible, and everything like that. So that's why you guys are going to South by Southwest.
Yes.
So when you were first starting Carbon, like, who were like the people that started helping? Like, were they friends or?
They were friends. They were just, so like, Vincent, our marketing director, never marketed before, but he was just a friend of mine since we were like, what, 13, and we always had just been talking about business. I started laughing because there's even a business he wanted to start called Teen Investment. I hope he's on this Facebook Live. Teen Investment was the name of it, and he wanted to help teens be able to invest money in like the stock market and stuff. And so I remember making a logo for him, and I mean, it never ended up going anywhere, but either way, like, we'd be on the phone for hours talking business stuff, even when we were 14, 15, and then, so I knew that I wanted him to be a part, and he's a great talker. He's even a better talker than me. Like, he's in conversation, he's like, great, and I'm like, it's perfect. And then the other two friends, like, one of them did video work as well, so he was a creator too, but it was like, hey, on the structure side, you can help like finance this, help build our finance side. And then my other friend, she doesn't do like photo, video, graphic design. I think she does graphic design now, but she was just a creative mind and was like always down to try new stuff. And so I was like, I definitely want you a part as well. And then, I mean, even now, as we grow, there's certain people who are a part of the team for a certain period of time, and then they leave, or they're at school and school's busy. Everybody's under 24, so it's like it's different people have different time commitments and things. And even as we come into this year, we've got a new handbook that's kind of like, bam, this is what it means to be a creator here at Carbon. I feel like everybody who was a part of our journey, no matter how long they've helped or how long they were at Carbon, they helped get us to where we are now. Like, I even tell our interns that one of our goals this summer were to get some accounts, and we got accounts. And I was like, we got these accounts because even the interns helping out, and they're not normally on like client projects, they're just on things that we'll do for our YouTube channel, or they're on things like that are smaller projects people may not see, but in my opinion, that's still helping us get to where we are. So it's been cool though, like met some really awesome people, just even through like working at coffee shops and people coming to us like, what are those stickers on your laptop? Like, what are you guys working on? But yeah, it's been, I think total we've probably had like 30 different creators work with Carbon. Currently we have like 12 to 16, but different people are on different amounts of projects. So
do you feel like that's kind of, like, do you have any problems with that? Because you said how everybody's like under 24, everybody's like goes to school or have their own thing. Like, is it hard like to do timing and everything? Timing I don't think is hard because we have so many people. Like, it's rare that I can't get a shoot done or I can't get something done because there's so many options. If Bryce can't go, I can call Taylor. If Taylor can't go, I'll call Jake if Jake can't go. But I think what does hinder us being so young is that not everybody has that mindset of like, okay, I need to be out here working. I call it like a 26-year-old mindset. A couple years ago, like in 2000, back when I was living in Lansing, like the year after I started Carbon, I was like, I'm gonna write a book called The 16-year-old or something. I can't remember what I titled it, but basically being a teenager, having a 26-year-old mindset. Because when you're 26, like let's say you went to college, or let's say whatever it is, 26, you're on your own. Like you're not in mom and dad's house anymore. You're not resting on anything else. Like, you literally have to be on your own making stuff happen. Don't get me wrong, there's situations where people might be living with their parents or anything, but in my mind I just think about like, where do I want to be by the time I'm 26? If I'm working the way I would work when I'm 26 now, I would be so much further along by the time I'm 26. So although we have a great team, like everybody at least has a little bit of that. There has been, last summer we were calling it lost in the sauce. We had to get out of the sauce. A lot of times we'd be here at the office all day and like just chilling, like watching funny videos, like just hanging out, maybe taking some pictures, but not doing as much as we could do. So I think that's the biggest thing, not doing as much as we could do. So that's the only real like issue I feel like. Even in regards to professionalism, like everybody, even if somebody hadn't worked in a corporate environment before or a work environment before, they've definitely done a great job like acclimating. Nobody's like misrepresented the brand or anything, and I think that has to do with kind of the way we teach around here and the way we like grow. We do a lot of growing together. So so from the beginning, like, were your friends and family supportive of starting your own business so young? Yes,
the entire time they were, and I think it was kind of like I'm sure nobody actually said it, but I'm sure it was kind of like a finally, because again, I was already doing this stuff. I just hadn't had a structure behind it, hadn't had a name behind it. And I used to say like, I'm not a photographer, I just take pictures. But then when we started Carbon, I was like, all right, I'm a photographer now, I'm a videographer. So I'm sure for a lot of people, even that just in my circle and in my life, are probably like, okay, finally he's got this started, because I was already doing so much of it. But yeah, they've always helped out and supported, shared on Facebook. My dad, he is entrepreneur as well, and so he's able to help give me advice. Yeah.
So when you first started off Carbon, like, do you remember your very first project?
Yes, our first project was with Spectrum Health, and it was for the CEO, and so it had us definitely on edge, trying to make sure we produced what they needed. What was nice though is that they did see our website, and so they knew what we could make happen. But either way, like when we had that meeting with the CEO, me and Vincent were taking a whole bunch of notes, looking around the room, making sure that we were capturing everything, so that when we did come down to recording, come down to editing, we knew what to get done. And so it was also a good opportunity for us to see what it looked like working for a larger company. Like, I'm glad we didn't have to start out just doing for fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We were able to get paid for the project, and it was a decent project for us.
So, from the years from when you started to now, like, how do you kind of find like your employees and stuff like that?
So right now it's been people reaching out. So there's a lot of people who will like DM us or email me or email the info account and just send their portfolio. But everyone, we haven't ever had a time where we're really hiring. It's just been like, if the situation fits, it works.
Mm-hmm.
So like right now, I just met last week with this girl who wants to be a project manager. She like literally just messaged me on Instagram, and we specifically are lacking in the project management side, so it was cool that she reached out. I met with her, and she seems great. Like, I'm hoping that it works out, her working with the company. And it's kind of just like if it catches my eye. But it's definitely, I'm the hiring manager right
Mm-hmm.
now, so it's like it is up to me, really. But some people, like I remember even when Mark, one of our creators, he was still in high school when he was trying to work with Carbon. And at first, like when he emailed me, I just didn't really read it because we weren't hiring at the time, but he kept emailing me and he kept messaging me. And then I was like, all right, let me figure out what this dude's up to. And so then I met him in person, and I was like, I love your energy, love like your work ethic, let's make this happen. And so he's been a great asset to the team. But I know there's going to come a time when we're specifically like, yo, sending your resumes. And it might even be this summer. I'm debating whether or not to start doing that now, so I at least have a pool of people that we can pull on. But yeah, in regards to hiring, there's never been a time where we're like, oh, we're hiring. But it's kind of just like if the relationship works out. Mm-hmm. And a lot of it is people bringing someone else in. So like so-and-so knows this person, and they really like Carbon Stories, so they'll meet with me or they'll meet with Vince and I, and we'll like talk to them, and we'll be like, okay, I could definitely see you working here. Or like Matt, for example, he's our lead video creator. He does majority of our corporate videos, majority of the video work. The two creators that are like right next to him and doing videos as well are two of his friends from high school, and I like met him through him. So Matt also just like connects to bring people in as well. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we've never specifically hired yet. But
so, how did you guys get the Carbon Stories name out there?
We got the name out just by knocking on doors, handing out business cards. There's a building off of Ionia specifically that we just walked into, and we were like, the third floor, let's go there. And then we went up there, and then I was like, Vince, go in there, you gotta hand out a business card. And Matt was there too, and Vince was a little scared, and me and Matt were like, no, you gotta go in there, just do it. And so he went in, handed a business card, and then like she emailed us a day later and was like, yeah, I wanna meet with you guys. I remember that was the first like client dinner we've ever had. She like paid for our meal. I brought 3 of us too. Like it was funny because so many times we do that. Like if I'm nervous about something or we're not sure about something, or even if we're just excited about it, we'll bring more of us, even if it's like not more of us is needed. Like we did a larger shoot last year, and it was just one interview for one person, but there were 5 of us at that interview, and it literally just could have been 2 of us. And I look back at that and I'm like, I know we just had 2 people there just to knock it out. But yeah, we were knocking on doors, going to events, and then also just shooting a lot, like posting on Instagram a lot, making a lot of content. Right now we don't really do a lot of knocking on doors, cold calling, but that's just based on us producing a lot now. But the second we're like, okay, we need more new projects, or people aren't filling out contacts for them as much, I'll go right back to cold calling, meeting random people. Like I like how accessible things are in this city, and so much of it is connected. And we've done a lot of stuff now where we can pretty much go to a business and find some type of connection. But in the beginning, yeah, it was a lot of like just walking up to random people saying, oh wow, I like your car, here's here's a business card if you ever need video work, or even other people who are taking pictures, meeting them, that sort of thing.
So like what is your biggest social media, and like what is one that like you need to work towards?
Our Instagram is our biggest. Like we have 1,490 followers, 80 followers on there, and we need work on our Twitter the most. But Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram are the three that we do. But yeah, we should be posting more on each of them this period, like content-wise. Right now, it's not even at an everyday thing. But we also have other accounts. So there's like Creator Mafia, that's more of like our street style. There's Create Carbon, which is a feature account. There's Carbon Closet, which is more of the brand stuff that we do. There's Carbon Local, which is like local businesses that we'll go to and highlight. And then there's Carbon Trailers, which is like trailers to our videos. There's Carbon Waffles, which is just waffles. So we have a lot of Instagrams, but the main one is just Carbon Stories. And yeah, that one, I think that's where we post and get the most engagement. But again, with the growth, like, social media, they could always do more, always do better. Even people who have millions of followers are like, I'm going to consistently be posting.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the goals for this year, have enough content to be posting daily, good stuff.
So why do you have so many Instagram accounts for so many different things? Specialties.
So like someone saying, a creator being like, okay, I take a lot more street photos. How do we highlight street photos a lot more? And instead of us, because our Carbon Stories one is a good mix. Like we'll show like a street style, we'll show more of like a corporate type video, we'll show a video, we'll show a photo, but we'll show a brand type thing. But we can't really have one focus on there. And so, like, our creator was just like, I want to make another Instagram so that we can just do street stuff on that one. And it's like perfect. And it's like, why not? Because they have different content on each of them as well. And then like the feature account, one of our creators just thought about doing last week, so it just started out. But it makes sense. She's like, we'll highlight other creatives, and then we'll be able to do giveaways there. We'll be able to highlight our creators once we build the Instagram account to have like a good following. But like, yeah, I think it's just more opportunities. If we only have one Instagram account, it'd just be like, this is the only place to go. But again, we do have the main one where it's like, that's the one I'm mostly telling people about. But the other ones people kind of just find based on knowing who we are and like being around us.
Back to the question when I said like your first project, what would you have to say your favorite one was?
Oh, jeez. Oh, Lumber Tax. That was my favorite one. I remember this because it was our first time working in a larger studio. First time like working with a cool product too. Before we were just doing a lot of, this was like December when we started. So we hadn't even been around for a year yet, but we were doing a lot more corporate things and a lot more, this is a company type video. But Lumber Tax was fun because one, we were able to be in this cool studio and use equipment that we never had access to before. And the guy who let us use it, like, it was really awesome, like just didn't even charge us for it. But also the video was just fun to make. And then the lady who does it's like wood carvings that she does, kind of carvings, wood burnings more of. The lady who does it, she was just an awesome lady too. And then the video was fun to make. So it was just like the experience that made it really good.
So, aside from Carbon and everything, you started making a vlog. So like, what's like the story behind that and why you made it?
So the story behind the vlog, I have debated and like been battling inside of my brain doing a vlog since we first started. You can go to Carbon's YouTube channel and see 3 vlogs. Is there 3 up there? No, there's only 2. 2 vlogs that I did make, kind of highlighting projects that we were doing. One of them I did the summer we started, and I think it was in like May. And so my goal was to keep making vlogs. And I know that I look back at it now and I'm like, if I would have kept that up, people would have been able to see our growth, they would have been able to see our process, and it could have helped somebody else. I'm just seeing a different perspective. But so now I've been vlogging every day because same sort of thing. I want people to be able to see like what day-to-day is like for me as a company owner. And I don't include everything in the vlog. I keep them around like 4 to 7 minutes. But I just highlight enough of my life that I even can go back at the end of the year and be like, wow, look at the growth that's occurred. And just sharing a little bit of what's going on in my life. And then also, like just another avenue of being able to tell our story. We don't do a good job of telling who Carbon is. So with the vlog, my hope is that people can kind of get behind the scenes of what it is like to work here, who our people are, that sort of thing. And what was the other thing? Yeah, I think it's just getting that documented, because then like 5 years from now I can go back and be like, oh, I remember January of 2018 18. But the way I started it, I just started recording everything because it's so complicated. Like I could go and make it a super quality video, or I could be, I could have graphics in it. I could be very intentional about it. But I feel like every time I do that, it convolutes it because since I know how to make like a video for a client, I'm like, this isn't a client video. I was just in my head too much with that. But I was like, I think it was the first week in January. I'm like, I'm just gonna start recording on my phone, and then I'll cut it up, and we'll see what happens. And so I've been like 2 weeks now doing it. I missed Fridays, but that means I'm just gonna come out with 2 tomorrow because I only record Monday through Friday. But yeah, I just record everything and then sit down, and it only takes me like an hour and a half. I normally do it at like 2 in the morning, and that's when I post it. But I just document what's going on, try to highlight even the cool people who are in my life, and the cool stuff going on. So
watch them where you got your dog.
Yeah.
The
puppy.
I like how you started off like freestyling.
Yes, I had to have the freestyle in there. But I actually like that one the most too because when Brent is in the video, he's the one who says for me not to get the dog. Yeah. I love that I was able to capture a perspective that was completely against even what I was doing because I think even me in high school, if I would have seen that, or me in middle school, if I would have seen that, I would have opened my mind to how many different perspectives there are. Don't get me wrong, like I was never one-track minded, but I do feel like a lot of times, even when people are communicating things, like if you go to somebody's Instagram, of course, it's the highlights of their life. Or if you had just seen that video and I didn't include him in there, you would have only seen everybody being like, oh, get the dog, this is so exciting. But I think it was cool to be able to be like, no, this was like, somebody told me no. And what happened was he started to say all this, and I was like, wait, let me get this on camera. He was like, how old are you right now? You're going to be da-da-da. And I was like, wait, stop. I got to record this. And I knew I needed to have that in there because, again, it was just a different perspective on it because I was so gung-ho about it. And although I still got the dog and, like, it was a good decision, she just has her bad days. Today she's having a very bad day. But his perspective of it being, like, a bad decision was cool to capture and make somebody think, like, all right, as much as I want
expecting that in there at all.
Yeah, bro. I love that was only. I think that one has the most views right now too. But it's also because it's called the worst decision of my life. Not clickbait, but just getting some interesting titles. You're not gonna read a book if it doesn't have a cool title. So.
Very true. See, like I feel like that one, like 10 years from now, like you can look back at that one. And that one be like really something.
Yes.
And everything like that. So with your goal with that, it's more like a documenting towards like trying to create like content and everything like that?
Yeah, well, I think it's more of documenting, not even necessarily as much creating content. Because if you watch the videos, they're not my best type of videos. I make better short Instagram videos than I do the vlog. And it might develop into something more even as I get more time, to where I am starting to use like a full frame camera right now. I just use my iPhone. But as of right now, it is just me documenting it. It's shaky, like the music isn't even right at all the spots. I'm trying to get better at the audio levels. I have noticed that like they're not always even. So I just need to spend another 10 minutes to make sure that that fits well. But right now it is just documenting. But I also want to be more creative with it. The one that I released tonight will have like this short video that I made because I'm a week ahead now. So like you'll see Mondays tomorrow, Mondays from last week. That just gives me like a buffer, but I think I should probably catch up. That way I'll like push myself to keep making them. Yeah. Because right now I'm like, oh, I can miss a day and then like just miss posting. Because I don't miss recording, it's just miss posting. Like Friday I got busy, didn't post. But if I absolutely had to post, I know I would do it like a lot more. But yeah, I think right now it's more of documenting. One day maybe making it way more interesting. The last one I posted had like a drone shot in it, and I'm like, maybe I should have more drone shots in there.
So earlier you said your like 5-year, 10-year goals and everything like that. So what is your 5 years goals from now?
5 years, definitely want to be in a different building, have this building and another one, just based on our need and size. And then also want to, if not have a space in New York, definitely be working on stuff consistently there. Like the entire year, a project going on in New York that we have to be at. A lot of times though, it is stuff to where we can go somewhere for 2 weeks, film, and then leave. So we'll only get a studio there when it becomes kind of needed. We won't just have one just to have one. But again, more on that opportunity side and the interesting stuff that can occur. But then also, yeah, the team just being in a very sustainable place right now. There's only a couple of people who only do carbon. Some other people have other jobs. But my goal is, 5 years from now, everybody who works in carbon will only be doing carbon. We are building kind of this affiliate thing where they're not necessarily a creator, but they can be called on when we have projects for them or when we need them to do stuff. So we'll just have like those programs kind of built out a lot more. But yeah, let's just be extremely sustainable and in a really good place as a company.
So then, on the other side of the company, like what are some 5-year goals that you have?
Personally?
Personally.
Carbon is my goal. No, personally, I want to, because I'm an entrepreneur first. Definitely, what's nice about carbon is that I'm a photographer, videographer, graphic designer, but I feel like I'm a creator of things first. And so I like creating business. I like creating. So entrepreneurship, other businesses, I want to have other things going. Like Carbon Waffles would be an awesome specialty waffle place here in Grand Rapids. There's a clothing line that I'm part owner of, Lope Apparel, and so I'd love for that to be in 5 years, being able to have a location. I'm interested in coffee, so whether it be I start a coffee shop or I partner in something having to do with coffee, but I love I like coffee brands. I like them a lot. My favorite one right now is Coffee House. I just made a video for them, and they're pretty dope out of Detroit. The guy who started it, he's a dope guy. I haven't met him in person yet, but everything I hear about him he's cool. So, and he's our age. I'll actually connect you guys with him because I think he'd be cool to have on this as well.
Dope.
I think his name is Luke. I can't remember off the top of my head right now, but again, I haven't met him in person. But yeah, I'd love to do something with like coffee. But again, like my main thing right now is making sure this gets sustainable, but I know I'll have other. Lauchiè Design is another company that I have started. That brand is more just built off of me, so like a lot of people will ask me for business advice or tips on what they should do to grow their market, just with what I do know how to do. And I even tell people, like, I don't know everything, I only know what I've been able to get done through the time that I've been doing business. And I only consider me really doing business the last 4 years, because before I was younger and it was like for fun things that I was working on. But sometimes people will come to me and say, I don't know how to start, or what should my business plan look like. And so before I was just helping them out, just me, but one thing I want to continue to build is like, this is the Lauchiè designed process of how you can get something done. So like I just titled it Lauchiè Design, and kind of more like business consulting. Even like when I go public speak at places, I want to do a lot more of that. I enjoy, like last weekend we had Grand Rapids Christian here, able to just tell them about carbon stories. I spoke at UICA this summer in a lot of different high schools and stuff, so I want to do a lot more of that as well.
So one thing that like I've kind of seen or like have been noticed about is with expanding like mindset and everything like that, people are always saying like affirmations and like speaking stuff into existence. Like, do you believe in that stuff?
Definitely. For me, I don't look at, although I say New York is a goal, it's not something that may not, for me, goals aren't stuff that may not happen. They're just things that are going to happen. It's up to me for when it's going to happen. That's always my mindset. Last year, when we had revamped the business plan, I presented it to everybody. One guy was like, that one guy being my little brother, he's like, what if we don't meet these goals? I'm like, what are you talking about? We're going to meet the goals. It's like, it's not a question of if we'll do it, it's a matter of when. But for me, it's like the stuff that I know will get done, we're just gonna get done. It's just up to us to make sure it happens. So yes, I speak it into existence, and just on every level.
All right, so you do a lot of like content creating, like right now you're on Facebook Live. Like, what is like your goal? Like, do you just like kind of record everything and everything like that?
No, I don't record everything, which is a bad thing. I think I should get to a place where I'm remembering to record everything. My goal is just to share stuff that can help inspire and like allow people to see how easy it can be. Don't get me wrong, it's hard work, but I think it's a lot of times people get caught up on that first step, or they get caught up on, I don't know what it looks like to be working in my business day to day. So I want to at least be able to capture how I do it, so that somebody can say, oh, if I just add that to mine, and kind of give like little nuggets that can help people, even if it's just one small thing from a post that we've made or an Instagram live video. And by no means do I have like this large following, but I also would love to have a social media influence. So in order to get there, I know I have to document and capture a lot more and share a lot more. But I also look at, I was talking to one of our clients the other day, I'm like, what's better? He's a motivational speaker. Like, what's better than you motivating people in person? You being able to have people having access to you motivating them at all times. So like, if somebody's like, oh, what is the feel of carbon, or who is Erik Lauchiè, or what goes on there, I have stuff out there to where people can figure that out at any time. It could be 3 a.m. and they're just thinking about it, or they could be Google searching, starting a small business, that sort of stuff. Having access to that.
Just kind of a random question, like back to carbon waffles. Like,
Yeah.
why carbon waffles? Like, why
I
did
just
you make
like
that?
waffles. So, wait, yeah, that's it. There's nothing more with that. It's just I
Just
like
like
waffles, yeah. So it'd be cool to make some waffles, and I like quality stuff.
Maybe you can make a waffle/coffee shop.
Straight up, that's what the goal is. Be dope.
Alright, so if you were able to go back and talk to, like, let's say the 12-year-old you, when you stay up on the phone, Vincent, business calls and everything, what would you say to him?
I'd say produce more. Just produce more. And I mean, that's what I'm saying to myself now. Again, getting caught in your head or getting caught on the idea sucks. And then that is a horrible place to be in. If you are physically getting things out there, taking like the nothings or taking the ideas and producing stuff, you will grow. And so I wish I did a lot more of that when I was younger. Other than that, like, stuff falls into place, and I love like the journey that was taken. But again, did she wake up?
Yeah.
Again, I just know for a fact if I was producing more back then, or even 2 years ago, I'd be further along. So it'd be produce more.
See, like, I feel like once you do start producing, you're gonna get better at it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a fact of life, pretty much. You keep on doing it, you're gonna learn stuff, and then you're gonna start, like, testing other things and everything like that.
Yep.
See,
I agree.
and that's one thing that I try to do. And, like, one of my problems is, like, I'll try to post on Instagram. Like, I try at least once a day. Like, I have no clue what to post about.
Yeah, stuff like the content.
Yeah.
I think it's just figuring out what you could talk about all day. Something that always excites you. Like, you're interested in business, clearly, so maybe it's hitting up people at coffee shops saying, do you own a business or do you have a business idea? Maybe it's that Facebook post saying, I'm trying to highlight other businesses on my Instagram for a week. Do you guys know 5 people who have a business? Or maybe it's you taking pictures of stuff that remind you of a business tip, like if it's always working or always producing, taking a picture of something that you've produced.
And then posting that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need to start working on that a lot more.
They said posting like a lot, like just constantly posting. Like, it doesn't even have to be like the same stuff that you always post. It can be something else that you like, but it's not the same thing that you're always posting.
Yeah, literally.
So, like, I feel like that's, like, one of my problems because, like, I'm into BMX and I've been posting BMX stuff on my Instagram for, like, years. So it's like now whenever, like, I post something else, like a business thing, like, it doesn't get as much likes, and I'm like, dang.
That'll grow though. I know that'll grow over time, because I feel the same way even with the fact that I don't get that many likes, but I'm like, as I continue to get better at it, people will find value and then they'll want more of it.
Yeah. I just need to work on it a lot more.
Straight up.
It's a fact. Alright, so is there any last words or any shout outs that you want to give out?
Shout out to my moms, shout out to the pops, shout out to my girlfriend Leah, shout out to the whole team. No, do you guys watch David Dobrik's vlogs?
I've heard of him. I've watched like 1 or 2.
He's hilarious, and there was at the end of one of his the other day. He was like, Jason Nash was like, I just want to say a few words, and he's like, dog, cat, ball, car, and I'm like, okay. And he's like, those are just my favorite words. No, yeah, I think the biggest thing that I would want people to take away, and biggest thing I want to just like say at the end is, again, make sure you're making stuff daily, whatever field it is. If stuff isn't being produced or taken out there, you're caught on that idea side. Even when you have this established working business, like we're only 3 years in, but there's somebody who can be 30 years into whatever they're working on, and they didn't even realize that they've gotten caught up in the like clouds of only talking about stuff. Or maybe it's like continue to like be higher level and work on process, but like do something to where things are created, being able to be handed over, value can be provided to somebody. I think that'd be my number one thing for people to take away, because that's what I'm working on, making sure I'm providing value that people actually want. So many times people are like, I want to get paid $1,000 to take pictures, or I want to get paid $50 for people to buy my shoe. Well, is your shoe even worth $50? Yeah. Is your video or photo worth $1,000? If you're focused on value and providing what other people need, the money will come. But like that number one thing is like 1, producing, but like 2, providing value.
All right, so to wrap it all up, we gotta tell you guys what to do in the giveaway. So there'll be a link in the description below, and all you gotta do is click on that link, put in your first name and last name and email, and then you're already into the giveaway for two $50 Nike gift cards.
Straight on.
So that'll be it for this episode. Peace out, guys.
See ya.